I had learned to arrive places already erased. Courtrooms, weddings, hospitals, spaces where decisions hardened before you entered. I took the chair farthest from the table, folded my hands, and let the air pass over me like weather. It wasn't humility. It was efficiency. When you are the youngest, the quiet one, the one who chose work that didn't photograph well, people assign you a shape. Flat, lightweight, easily moved aside. My sister came in bright and exact, as if the room were an extension of her office. Her attorney followed, carrying the practiced gravity of someone who had already been paid to win. My parents took their seats together. They nodded at one another, the way people do when they've run the conversation so many times it no longer needs words. The motion slid across the table. All of the inheritance, effective immediately. It sounded like a sentence you'd practice aloud until it stopped sounding dangerous. The judge read, expression neutral, the way neutrality itself can be a tool. Then he looked at me. Do you object? The question landed heavy, not because I hadn't expected it, but because of how final it was meant to be. Object and become difficult. Object and reveal yourself as emotional. Object and lose with noise instead of silence. I want to wait, I said, my voice surprised me by being steady. Until the last person arrives. My sister turned, a fractional movement that still managed to carry disbelief. The attorney frowned, not angry, just inconvenienced. My parents didn't look at me at all. The judge glanced at the clock. We've been punctual, he said, not unkindly. Who are we waiting for? Someone with an envelope, I said. Addressed to me. It sounded strange even to my own ears, the way true things sometimes do before they're recognized. The judge hesitated, then nodded once. 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes were longer than the previous 10 years. My sister tapped a pen against her folder. My mother sighed. The sigh of a woman who had done everything right and resented being delayed. My father stared at the table as if it might open and offer a simpler outcome. I didn't look at them. I watched the door. I thought of the small, unremarkable moments that had accumulated into this one. The call I didn't return because it wasn't urgent. The document I'd signed without reading aloud, because it wasn't about money, the way my parents had said. You wouldn't understand. This is complicated, and how grateful I'd been, at the time, to be spared. The door opened without ceremony. A man in a black suit stepped in. He didn't hurry. He didn't apologize. He checked the room, then said my name once, clearly, as if he were calling me from a list. Yes, I said. He held up an envelope. Thick. Cream-colored. Sealed. He crossed the room and placed it in front of the judge before anyone could interrupt. I'm instructed to submit this into the record, he said. Effective as of last month. The judge broke the seal. He read silently at first. Then again, slower. His mouth moved around words that didn't seem to want to sit there. He reached for his glasses, put them on, and leaned back. That, he said, and stopped. He glanced at me, then at my sister, then back at the page. That can't be. He cleared his throat. The room had gone still in a way that felt structural, like a load-bearing wall had shifted. The attorney stood. Your Honor, sit down, the judge said, not sharply, just decisively. He continued reading. When he looked up again, something had changed. Not excitement, recognition. This document, he said, establishes a prior trust. It names a sole trustee. He paused. And a beneficiary. My sister's pen stopped tapping. The judge turned to me. You were aware of this? Yes, I said. That was true. I hadn't known when it would arrive. I hadn't known who would bring it. But I had known it existed, the way you know about a fault line once someone shows you the map. He nodded, then addressed the room. The motion as filed is incomplete. The estate was restructured under advisement. The terms supersede what's been presented here. My mother made a small sound. My father finally looked up. What does that mean? My sister asked. Her voice was controlled, but it had lost its shine. It sounded like someone stepping into a room they'd already arranged, only to find the furniture moved. It means The judge said, "That control does not rest where you believed it did." There was no speech, no explanation of fairness. No lecture about intent. Just procedure, just consequence. The ruling adjusted itself around the new center of gravity. Portions were stayed. Others rerouted. Authority did what authority does when presented with proper paperwork. It recognized it. When it was over, there was nothing left to say that would improve anything. In the hallway, my sister stood very still, as if waiting for someone to tell her which version of herself to be now. My parents hovered, unsure where to place their disappointment. No one asked me anything. That was fine. Questions tend to arrive late. I walked past them toward the exit. The envelope was back in my hands, lighter now that it had done its work. Outside, the day was ordinary. Traffic, people with coffee, a man arguing into his phone about something that would be forgotten by dinner. I didn't feel victorious. I felt accurate. Being dismissed had taught me how to stand without asking. The truth hadn't come from me, it had arrived on its own. Carried by someone with no stake in our history. That mattered more than any apology would have. I crossed the street when the light changed, not looking back, and for the first time, the space I took up felt measured. Enough.